Good afternoon, and thank you for joining the Microsoft and MCA Connect webinar today. We will be recording this session, so if you don't want to be recorded, please feel free to drop and we will reach back out and hold a one-on-one session with you on this topic. A few other housekeeping items. Feel free to ask questions during the presentation through the chat function, and at the end, we'll also make ourselves available for Q&A, where you can raise your hand and we will take you off of mute and allow you to ask your question. My name is Chadwick Jones, and I'm a Director of Business Applications here at Microsoft. And today we're joined by our partner MCA Connect, who's represented by Mitchell Turnbow, as well as members of my team, Janae Piper, Matt Bima, and Miles Cabrera, who are also in the business application space and they're technology specialists. Today, our agenda is we're going to talk through market trends in the service industry. We're going to also dive into a field service overview and demonstration led by the technology specialists, and then talk about the business case for transforming in your field service departments. As I said, we're joined by our partner, MCA Connect, and as you know, Microsoft builds platforms and solutions to solve our customers' complex business problems. A key factor to our customers' success in solving these challenges is finding the right partner. Microsoft partners like MCA Connect bring years of experience, not only with Microsoft solutions, but within your specific industries as well. They've worked with other organizations in your industry and have developed best practices along with solutions that help solve these business problems. I'd like to hand it off to Mitchell Turnbow to take us next.
Yeah, thanks, Chadwick. The way I like to put it is, Microsoft sort of builds the car, and we here at MCA Connect and the partner network, we teach you how to drive it. At MCA Connect, we're a gold partner who's been focusing on field service, manufacturing, and the oil and gas industries for over 20 years. We house industry experts with significant experience to help take you from and beyond the technology and functionality and into solving the biggest problems you're facing. Problems like, what should the focus of today's field service leaders really be? And the challenge facing CSOs and other leaders in the service industry can be summarized pretty simply. How do I deliver maximum value? How do I deliver value to my customers, to my company, to my employees? Whether you're looking through the lens of IT, finance, or operations, the modern field service professional is looking to be more productive than ever. You all need to see improvements in these prioritized KPIs, like customer experience and profitability, all while empowering your employees and keeping an eye toward leveraging the innovations that will shape the future of the industry. But your people are facing countless challenges and barriers trying to provide that seamless service experience. Disjointed communication with customers and field teams, lack of optimized scheduling, which leads to time wasted and even multiple trips, limited real-time visibility into customer data, knowledge repositories, and even service operation guidelines, inefficient travel orchestration, resulting in more windshield time than wrench time, inability to track and forecast inventory, leading to having to wait for it to come in before being able to complete the job, and all of this impacting first-time fix rates and overwhelming techs with manual data entry. So how do we overcome these issues? A field service management platform helps to ensure that the right person with the right skill set and right parts shows up for the job at the right place at the right time. And how do you get these goals aligned with a solution that can help you meet and exceed them? You need an end-to-end technology driving the process. This series of touch points should create a feedback loop, identifying opportunities to improve, backed by rich analytics and AI-driven insights. So let's walk through this work order lifecycle and how our solution streamlines the process. You can see a service event occurs, and whether it's a recurring maintenance or a break-fix issue called in by a customer, or even proactively discovered by IoT. Your intelligent field service tool then allows you to act quickly and deploy their best resource for the job. That tech is then alerted on their mobile device and is able to see all the customers in work order history, as well as get turn-by-turn directions. The customer is also notified of an ETA and when the tech is en route. When the tech arrives on site, they're well equipped with everything they need, not just the right tools, but also the right documentation and best practices. And once the job is complete, And the customer can automatically receive a survey of the job, allowing the tech and the entire service organization to reflect and continuously improve while driving up those customer sat numbers. Throughout the work order lifecycle, there are opportunities for learning, and the process becomes smarter and smarter. So I'll pass it over to Janae to start going into a deeper dive.
Awesome. Thank you, Mitch. So you might ask, why Dynamics 365? And I'm going to walk you through how we differentiate. We're focused on transforming the service delivery in 4 key areas. First, we allow our customers to be more targeted with their service actions by ensuring the correct service actions are addressed precisely when needed and only when needed through smart monitoring and intelligent insight into places and things enabled by IoT and mixed reality. We also personalize the service experience by transforming customer engagement to deliver exceptional service as promised at the right time, the first time. We work with our clients to provide transparency and customer visibility into the scheduled service history and allow for self-service and insights throughout the process. We then increase technician productivity by empowering service teams, whether remote or on-site, to collaborate effectively and seamlessly to reduce friction and increase productivity. We arm your technicians with actionable insights, critical data, and the ability to collaborate in real time across departments with a robust set of intelligent productivity tools, including remote assist. And finally, we optimize service operations by delivering outcome-based value generation through increased first-time fix rates to provide expert-supported service and transform service delivery functions from reactive cost centers to proactive profit centers. We help you develop agility to evolving global conditions by ensuring business continuity with remote collaboration. In short, we help you do it right, do more, do better, and do it when needed. We hope you feel these themes throughout the demo and see how Dynamics 365 Field Service can empower your teams to achieve more. So with that, we'll be focusing on 3 key personas throughout the demo today. I'll be playing the role of a customer needing service. I'll then hand it off to my peer, Matt, who will cover the role of your dispatcher, and he'll assign the work to the best tech for the job, which will be played by Miles. So taking a step into the lens of a customer, I'll be able to have many different digital channels to contact the service provider that's running on D365. If I have any problems or need to ask a question, I can report that however I prefer. I appreciate that I have choices and can easily find answers and get help. It makes me a satisfied customer. So today you'll see how I can access a customer service portal where I can find knowledge articles to help me fix any issues that I may have. Or if unsuccessful, I can submit a service request for a technician to come out and repair or replace something. I'll be updated throughout the process and be able to ask any questions that I may have at any time. So let's take a look. So this is the customer-facing portal, and of course, just an example of one. This would be configured to your company's specific needs and provide just the information that your customers need to see. But within here, as the customer of Big Machine Corporation, I'm able to access customer support, a knowledge-based repository. I might have access into warranty management for the assets that I have with Big Machine. And if there's any recalls, I can access that information here as well. I'll also be able to come in and search for key articles. I can see the most popular articles at my customer location, as well as be able to see, other items that may be made available to me. But of course, all controlled by you so that your customers only see what they need to. So let's say that we're actually having an issue with an alternator. I could come in and search for that article here, and the system will find any relevant information for alternator support. So there's actually a troubleshooting guide that's available to me. So I'm going to click into that here quickly. I would be able to pull this up on any sort of mobile device, tablet, PC like you're seeing now, but this would actually allow me as the customer to walk through some troubleshooting guides right within the portal itself. So I could print this out if I prefer, or like I said, hold it up on a device as I walk through that. And this is really just an example of the type of information you could make available to your customers for self-service needs. So let's actually, say that this did not help me. I could come in from here and create a case. So I have a quick button to get help. I also could chat and ask additional questions if I needed to. And of course, be able to see all of that information in one place. Before I create a case, though, I do want to show you some of the other things that the customer is able to access through their customer support page. So, I, as the customer, can see all of my existing cases, whether that's open cases, closed cases, or everything. I have the ability to see status updates throughout the process. I can also be notified throughout the process, so I don't have to come into the portal to see those updates. So it keeps me informed, keeps me well aware of what's happening. I'm confident in the service that I'm receiving as I'm kind of seeing those updates throughout the process. So let's actually go ahead and say that we need to open a new case. As I do that, the system's already going to recognize who I am as a customer. It also could present me with assets that I have with the service provider where I could just select that asset from a list. But I'm just going to say that my alternator needs replacing. And you can see actually as I type in alternator, say that the customer, was in a hurry and they didn't check the knowledge base, they could be surfaced with examples of troubleshooting guides or other, knowledge articles that may help them. So this is actually just using keywords to find, things that might help me. So I could actually click into that troubleshooting guide right through here. But let's just say, we've already looked at that. So I actually do want to enter a case. So I've entered the description of the case. I'm going to say that it is a problem and I am needing maintenance. This, of course, is all configurable to your needs. But as the customer, I can come in and say, my alternator is not holding a charge. And I think it needs replacement already troubleshooted. So of course, adding any additional information that may help the dispatcher in determining the best resources. The customer could be prompted with additional questions. We kind of kept this kind of simple here, but this could be very specific to ensure you're getting the information that you need. I also can upload pictures. So if there's any videos or pictures that I want to include in my request, I can easily attach those here, but I'm just going to go ahead and submit that request. This will give me confirmation that my case has been received. And again, as the case is worked, maybe a customer service representative sends me some additional information, or maybe this gets converted to a work order, I can be updated throughout that process to ensure that I am kept up to date on what's happening. I know when I can expect a technician on site. I can even get a technician en route notification that shows me where they are on the map, which is really nice as well. So we've placed our case, but before I hand it over to the dispatcher to kind of walk through that, I did want to point out some other items within here. So this would actually give me the ability to come in and chat. And that could be where I'm, conversating with a live agent. You actually could implement virtual agents to answer simple questions that your customers may have. So within here, I'm going to say that I'm looking to understand what the company's hours are so that I know when I can expect an answer back from the service provider. So you can actually see that I've been greeted by a virtual agent where they're letting me know the types of things that they can answer. So I could say that I want to speak to a live agent right away, but I actually do want help with understanding the hours. So I'm just going to type in store hours here. And the system will be able to recognize my response, whether that's something that I typed in as, an actual question or just some short keywords like you saw me do there. And it does present me with the hours. So I will say that that does help me. And as I do that, the system will actually ask me to rate my experience. So you can constantly be getting feedback from your customers to ensure that you are getting the information back from them that you may need, and also can continuously improve your service experience for your customers. So we'll say we don't need anything else and close out here. So at this point, I am going to pull back my presentation for us. and quickly run through what we saw throughout that demonstration. So as the customer, I had a very much improved customer satisfaction experience. I was able to interact with one solution that provided me with a single source of truth where I was able to see all of my service history as well as be able to get access to items to help me self-service, things like knowledge base articles, as well as asking questions either to a virtual agent or a live agent. So it has improved my satisfaction, and with all the transparency that I have throughout that customer portal, I'm confident that my issues will be handled quickly. And you'll actually see throughout the rest of the demonstration the accelerated issue resolution. So I'm actually going to pass it off to Matt, who will be playing the role of the dispatcher.
Thank you, Janae. So me as a dispatcher, like dispatchers across organizations all over the globe, have a lot of cases to triage and to handle. So what you've seen is my customer was easily able to submit their requests to open a case to have their asset worked on. And me as the dispatcher, I have received an email notification that there is a new case in my queue, and I will be triaging that request, converting it to a work order, assigning a resource, and dispatching that resource to go on site and execute the work. I could also periodically review the progress of these jobs, either through analytics in real time or historical, or on the schedule board in the field service application in real time. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in to the field service application in Dynamics 365. When you access the desktop application, you're going to land here on Get Started, and you'll see this column here on the left with different navigation options within the service area. You can see you could also access other areas here depending on your levels, your security roles, or permissions. So you can access sales information. You can look at inventory of material or parts. You can also manage your resources from here, work on their profiles, establish characteristics and skill sets and locations. You can also go into settings and configure new parameters within your incident types, your work orders, and so on. So having gotten the notification that a case has been generated, I'm going to go down here to service delivery and cases, and this gives me my all cases queue. You can see at the very top the case that has been given to me recently, created 5 minutes ago, is at the top of my queue, to which I will click and review the case. It will be populated with all the information I need to include case details. I can access the customer account information. I can take a look at the timeline. I can look at any communications that have happened either with the virtual agent or live agent. I can also look at other cases that have been opened by this customer at this location or otherwise. And then I can see my description. Now, I could move this case along through the case triage lifecycle. So I've identified the case, I've researched the problem, I can establish a priority as high, normal, or low, to which I'm going to make this normal priority. Move it on to prep for resolution, and this is when I can convert it into a work order. So all cases triaged then get converted to a work order, and that work order is what's going to initiate the action to schedule. Now you can see I tried to convert the work order without an incident type. So you'll see there are guardrails within the system that stop your users from taking actions that could put bad data into the system and make it so it's impossible to move forward on your execution of your work order. So since I have researched and assessed this case that an alternator replacement is needed, I will go ahead and assign that incident type. And what incident types do is give you the ability to enhance the process of repeatable work, repeatable processes, standardized processes, things that increase efficiencies within your field service operation. You can see now that my work order was created successfully, and I can go directly in here and open the work order, or I can navigate there manually. I'm going to go ahead and go directly into the work order. And you'll see a lot of similar information. but you're going to start seeing things like statuses and other things that pertain to the work that needs to be done, such as your price list. Work order type here is install and replace. You'll see that primary incident type and the incident description if you choose to transfer that over as well. When I say that incident types empower you to increase efficiencies through repeatable processes, what an incident type does is it's a standard service offering within the system. So you'll see that I've assigned this incident type and it's automatically populated with the products that are going to need to be used, the services that are going to need to be completed. So here we have an alternator replacement with a description. And you're also going to see service tasks. So these tasks are the steps that need to be completed for this job. And these can be ticked off in real time by the technician. And so that's where I get that visibility into the progress of the job. So using logic in the system, I can go here and book this directly, or I can go into the schedule board, which is going to be a dispatcher's bread and butter. What it does is it gives you a 360 view of all work that needs to be completed in that day for that area or for the entire region that you're servicing. You'll see it's a swim lane view with a list of all of my resources or technicians. It looks at the work orders that they have been assigned and the progress of the work orders that they are currently executing. You'll see that your work orders are color coded by that job status. So here we'll see that in red that Abraham is en route to complete this work order. Same with Bernadette at the bottom. We'll see that these two are in progress and Ashley Chin is actually on a break. And that's what these icons and colors represent. On the right, you're also going to see a map of the regions that you're servicing powered by Microsoft Bing Maps. And you can zoom in on a location to see geographically where your technicians or resources are and what it's going to take for them to get to that next job. I can assign these work orders manually if I need that kind of control, or I could use what's called the scheduling assistant or QuickBook. And what this does is it uses the logic in the system to find the best resource for the job that I am assigning. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my work order here that was issued by Janae, and I'm going to click Find Availability. And so the parameters that it's using to find the resource are location, time to job, traffic patterns, distance, as well as skill sets built into characteristics in the resources profile. So those characteristics can be a job type, role, or skill set. So for this skill set, we're looking for a heavy equipment operator in the Seattle area. And you can see that we have more than a few resources here that fit the job. You can see where in the region they are located, but also here on the left from the list of available resources, we see the travel time and distance to get there. So the system can estimate, not estimate, but can give almost exact time of the optimal resource. So I'm going to go ahead and assign Simon as he is closest at 20 minutes away. I can make edits to this booking if needed, but I'm going to go ahead and book and exit. And now my resource has been assigned to the job and on to the next work order for automatic or manual assignment. So what we've seen is that I was able to easily manage my caseload, convert my case into a work order, and assign my resource. I had visibility into the progress of work orders and automated the assignment of resources. I also experienced improved resolution time through back office process improvement and increased customer satisfaction by keeping the customer informed, because when I assign that resource and the booking is done, the customer also receives notification that they are en route once they change that status to en route, and can be given that proactive communication to give them visibility into the progress of their job, just like me as the dispatcher. I've also ensured that we have all the parts needed for the job based on the products listed by my incident type. and those inventories are managed in real time as the job is executed. So it is easy to see how D365 Field Service in the Power Platform can improve the administrative side of your field operations. But now to see how your technicians in the field are empowered using the Field Service mobile application, I'm going to hand it off to our technician, Miles. Miles, take it away.
All righty. Thank you for that, Matt. So yes, exactly. We are about to jump into what the POV might look like as a field technician, as seen by myself, Miles, the field technician. So the first thing that we're going to notice is the ability to instantly open up an application that is able to alert us on any new bookings, and it allows us to centralize all of our information, including customer and service history, all in one place. Once we do that, we're going to head over to our site. Once we arrive to the site, we're going to be able to leverage the step-by-step instructions that are built into our application, and how we're able to account for inventory as we are on site. Then lastly, we'll see how you could potentially leverage remote assistance with support for whatever issue you may find yourself in. In this case, it's going to be with the alternator that our customer has requested replacement of. We'll talk a little bit more about why that's so important. But in just a moment here, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and just want to confirm with everyone in the audience that you are indeed able to see my phone screen.
We can see it.
Great. So what we're looking at here, well, first off, is an iPhone. However, this application, the field service application that you're seeing there in the top, is also available on Android devices. So regardless of what platform you're on, you will have access to this application. But essentially what this allows us to do is centralize our information into one place. So let's go ahead and jump into what that might look like. Just give it one moment to load here. And what we're met with immediately when we open up the application is a booking screen. So this is very similar to the dispatch pane of glass, where you have multiple field technicians' work orders and schedules. In this case, we are now drilling it down into what is important for myself, Miles, the technician. So as you can see here, we have the alternator replacement scheduled here in about 2 hours. We can also look ahead. We can look back at any work orders that we might have completed, any work orders that we have ahead of us, and then most importantly, the ones that we have immediately. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into the actual alternator replacement work order that we have in front of us for Contoso Corporation, and take a deeper look into what we have disposable to us as a field technician. So you'll see here at the top, we're met with a few tabs, and we'll go tab by tab here to take a look at, what really matters in each single one of these. But first off, a general tab, essentially what it is general information. What is the booking status? When are we going to start this? When is our actual arrival time? When is it supposed to end? How long is this going to take? Now, I did want to highlight booking status. As of now, it is scheduled. We could update this to go ahead and say traveling, for example. We'll save this. And the importance of being able to update these booking statuses is that we're able to inform other individuals of said status updates. So in an example, if we were to update this to traveling, we could potentially send out a push notification or an email alert out to our customer to inform them of who is on their way and how long it'll take. All in all, to make sure that all the resources are at the work site that are going to be needed to perform the repair. The last thing we'd want to do is have technicians show up with no actual customers there and unable to perform the work. So we can give these heads up as a result of updating booking statuses. And again, just keeping everything as up to date as possible, because that's what really matters when we have this centralized source of truth, such as this application. Moving over to the customer tab, we can take a look at our customers' information, so we can see what account we're working on, what their address is, any miles that are being traveled to. Again, all in all, to make sure that we're accounting for everything or any variable that might be on the work site. If we really wanted to, we could dive into the customer information and find out exactly who we're working with, who our primary contact might be if we couldn't reach them for whatever reason once we arrive on site. But again, what this allows your field technicians to do is really understand where they're about to work, who they're working with, and a little bit more about the customer themselves. Moving over to service. So this is now once we've arrived on site. So assuming we've updated our booking status or our status of this work order to in progress, because at this moment we would be working on whatever work order or specifically whatever service that we have to perform here. we are met with things like service tasks, services, and products. So service tasks allows us to standardize the process in which we delegate work out. So in this case, it's an alternator replacement. We have 4 steps to perform every single time we have an alternator replacement. And again, this really provides a framework for newer field service technicians out there who may not exactly know what the standard process is for a specific incident type. In this case, we can go on and check off that we have now disconnected the battery. And you'll see that as soon as that updates, we are then met with our next step, which is to remove our alternator, and so on and so forth. So as I quickly just go ahead and check through these, because I'm a Super V worker and I'm able to do all of this within quite literally a couple of seconds here, we'll see that we were able to completely fill out our service task section. And this essentially denotes that we have performed every single one of these steps. Now, did want to take a quick pause here and talk a little bit more about remote assist at this moment. This is when it would most likely come up. So in the case that a field service technician is out and about performing these tasks, and let's say he gets to the step of removing said alternator. I'm not entirely sure how to remove this alternator. There might be something funky with it, might be rust around it. Not entirely sure. We have the ability to leverage what is called remote assist. So by clicking down there in the bottom right-hand corner, going to more, you'll see that I have the option of remote assist right here. Won't click on it because it's going to take me out of this app and into the remote assist app. But what this allows our technicians to do out in the field is leverage our more veteran technicians that are potentially back in an office to leverage their knowledge and experience with, in this case, an alternator replacement, and allowing them to remotely assist us while we are out in the field and they are back in the office. Now, this is important because we have generally an aging workforce in the field service industry that's below replacement rates, right? And by being able to leverage the few individuals that we have that have years of experience of doing these types of technician repairs, we can leverage them in multiple ways instead of just having them have to go out to every single service call that is made. And in this case, we can leverage them back at the office, and they could be helping multiple technicians on a daily basis without ever having to physically arrive on site. Again, really making use of what we have available to us, making the most out of what we have. Exactly. So moving down to services. Again, this just kind of denotes what we're doing here today. So if it wasn't already apparent by the service task, we'll see that we are here to do an alternator replacement. We can check through this. And then lastly, products with alternator and alternator belt. This allows us to account for any items that we are going to be using here so that we are keeping track of our inventory as accurately as possible, making sure that we are checking these items off as we are replacing them with a new alternator and new alternator belt. Again, all of this checklist, things that we can check off and save to the work order. Moving over to notes section, very self-explanatory as to what this is. You can take text notes if you'd like. You also have the option down there at the bottom. You'll see photo and video. So if there's something that I just can't write down how I'm seeing it, I can take a picture of it, take a video of it, and attach it to this work order so that if anybody back in the office or any other field tech comes out, they can see the exact image or video of the whatever it is that I'm taking a photo or video of, all here attached to this central work order. And then lastly, we have an area to capture signatures for whatever requirements your organization might have, whether it's to sign off, to have a customer sign off that work has been completed or that the technician has arrived. Whatever the use case may be, you do have the ability to sign off on these work orders to then fully save them out and complete them. So just want to go ahead and jump us back over to our presentation. Just give me one moment here as we do so. And want to confirm with the audience that we are indeed seeing my face with 3 little bubbles. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good.
Great. So just wanted to recap a little bit as to what we just saw and why it really matters, right? So the first things first is that we have a single source of truth with visibility into our customer and their service history, right? So what we were able to see with that application was not only the work orders that we have ahead and behind of us, but the ones that we have in front of us today. We're able to jump into them, really find out who our customer is, where they're located, any other incidents or any other field service activities that they've had with us to get a better understanding of what we're actually being dispatched out to do. Secondly, we were also empowered to solve problems with that step-by-step guidance and leverage more veteran field service technicians via remote assist in the case that we were unable to perform whatever service task we had ahead of us. Again, that remote assist coming in clutch, especially when we have less and less veteran technicians out in the field. We can do a one-to-many, learning event, so to say, in that we're able to leverage their knowledge while they're back at base with multiple field technicians out on a daily basis rather than having to reschedule for them to come out every single day. And lastly, and ultimately, what this leads to is improving customer service and customer retention. We're having our field service technicians more informed of the customers that they're going out to help. They know and they have a better understanding of how to perform the work. And ultimately, we are shooting for a first time completion every time that we go out, right? Rather than having to reschedule for someone else to come back out, every time that we're dispatching someone out, they should be able to resolve that issue on the first attempt. So at this moment, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back over to Mitch to close us out in terms of some of the numbers behind the value that you've seen here today.
Yeah, as you can see, there's no question that the Dynamics cloud optimized field service platform provides the functionality that you all need. But what might be even more impressive than everything we've seen today is the potential return for your organization if you all were to prioritize this type of solution. And the proof is really in the Forrester Total Economic Impact Study. Here are a few of those findings up on the screen, but what I'd like to emphasize is that Forrester interviewed just 3 companies and found that these organizations experienced benefits of nearly $2 million over 3 years versus costs of just $385,000. See, that's an ROI of over 300%. And the question is, how can you all recognize these potential opportunities and do so efficiently? Miles, if you'd move me forward, that'd be great. One way is to leverage something like our MCA Connect Smart Start for Field Service. This is a 20-week program, and it takes you from a vision of what you could be doing to a configured functional platform to take action from. Inside of those 20 weeks, we work with your organization on a top-down strategy that will lead to measurable, impactful improvements and includes mobile access, customer portal, and all the functionality that we saw today on the demonstration, as well as training and post-go live support. And so with that, I'd like to say thank you on behalf of both MCA Connect and Microsoft. I appreciate you all joining us today. And we'll go ahead and open the floor for questions and visit the chat and see if there's anything that anyone who wants to stay on the line and have a deeper conversation with us. We welcome that for the time that's remaining.
Yes, thanks, Mitch. And if you do have questions, please, like I said, put it in the chat or raise your hand and we can take you off of mute and you can ask the question verbally as well. If there are no questions, we appreciate everyone being here today and watching through this webinar and learning more about how you can transform your service organization. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself. My email is there on the screen, or to Mitch at MCA Connect. We'd be happy to discuss this further with you. Thank you very much and have a great day.